So this, just this as it is already everything. There is already no separation. There is already nothing sticking out. It's really nothing happening. It may seem as if something is happening in the story, but really it doesn't happen. That's why I would say at times it seems to be happening, but it's never really happening. This isn't going anywhere. And this as it is can never really be spoken. This can never be said. It's already nothing being everything. So it may appear as somebody who's talking. It may appear as people who are having conversation. It may appear as a room, a computer, thoughts, sensations, bad weather, sun. It may appear as anything. But this as it is already nothing. It can never really be pointed at because it's not separate from itself, that there can be something that is pointing to a certain direction. It's all just this. There is never really any pointing to anything. This can't be grasped. This can't be known because it's already everything. It can never really be gotten because there is nobody outside of it to get it. There's just this. There's just it. At times, it may happen to dream itself as separate from itself, looking for itself. But that, as it is nothing but a dream. It's imaginary. There's never a real separate self, somebody who's separate, who will eventually become one with this. There's just this, even appearing as that. But this, as it is not an appearance. It may appear as what seems to be different things, as labels, but this is not an appearance. It's really nothing. It doesn't have different parts. It's just one. It's boundless energy. It's spaciousness. It's never really separate from itself. What seems to be in an activity may be seen as just this boundless energy dancing. People may seem to be walking in the streets, going to different places, but they are never really people. It's just this boundless energy dancing. There may seem to be cars moving around, going to a certain direction, but they're never really cars. There may seem to be birds flying to different directions, but they're never really birds. It's just this boundless energy appearing to dance. So that energy, that seeking energy that seems to be looking for this, for what is already what is already this.
So,
It is
Nkosi,
already not separate.
how does this help me with my problems?
Sorry, come again.
How does this help me with my problems? How does this
Yeah.
how does this how do I the things that don't work, the arguments, things not fitting together?
Yeah. Arguments, arguments, they are already not personal. Anger is not personal. Even that which is trying to get rid of it.
You were frozen. We lost you at arguments are not personal.
Yeah. Yeah. Arguments are not personal. Anger, frustration is not personal. It's just what appears in this and disappears. But something may seem to rise or appear to claim that it's mine, it's my anger, it's my argument. That doesn't really exist. It's nobody's argument, it's nobody's anger. It's just what appears in this. It's just this expressing as that. Yet, even that seems to claim that it's my anger, it's my argument, I'm having an argument with somebody, is also an expression of this as well. It's got nothing to do with somebody who's real, who's facing that. There's no do of anything already.
So the anger comes, frustration comes. Just let it come and then let it go.
Yeah, allow it to come, play out, and exhaust itself. Never try to get rid of it. Never try to get rid of it.
Because
It's just what's happening. Yeah, it's just what's happening. As well, they may be keeping quiet and observing what's happening, never really attaching to it. You can observe, the anger coming up and coming down without any reaction, without trying to do something about it. But when there's that thing that is trying to get rid of it, it may seem as if there's a problem, you know. But when it is seen as it is, that is just an expression of this, then it may be allowed to play out, you know. There's so much space that everything is allowed to be as it is without judgment, you know. So I would say, don't judge the argument, don't judge the anger. Just allow it to be as it is. Allow it to play out until it exhausts itself. Be the space you are. Be the spaciousness you are. Be the boundless energy you are. Don't be a person.
Decisions are to be made. Words are to be chosen. Actions are to be performed from this energy space. This energy space casts a wide whirlpool of chaos, disruption.
Yeah. Stillness in the midst of chaos is never affected. Stillness is just there, not even watching, just there. No, it's not reacting to anything. It's just there. Seeing is just there. It's not a man or a woman. Even that which seems to say, oh, I don't like this, it is seen as an appearance in this.
I get up.
Because there's, yes.
I get up, I do my meditation. I get up at breakfast. I read my Nisargadatta. I do my meditation. And progressively, the forest becomes more a portal of just one, my mind will crunch, but even as it crunches, something's happening. And after a very short while, there's like this blissful opening, right? And usually that carries throughout my day, right? And my days go well. I get in the zone, there's some creativity, I work with people well. But then some days aren't like that. And it doesn't seem, it's not because I didn't eat my Wheaties. You won't get that joke. It's not because I didn't do my meditation. It's not because I didn't do things right. But it's just sometimes the energy shifts, the days off. And then energy coagulates in the body and triggers pain, anger. And even through that, if I'm not clinging, I don't try to remember, don't try to dwell, don't try to worry, or I don't worry. But I can feel my blood pressure going up. I can feel the pain, I can feel the energy. And then I come and I sit in front of Cozy. And Yeah, I mean, you can let it wash over you, but it's still there, There's no escape.
Mm, mm.
There's no escape.
Yeah, what I would say is that when they seem to be a blissful state that is as full of peace, joy, and your true position should always be seen there. Even that you should they shouldn't be an attachment to that as well. That should be seen as just something that appears and disappears.
Yeah.
So that when frustration, argument comes, you know, your true position will always be there. You won't forget your true position. Because if there's blissful, if there's peace, joy, and then something seems to say, oh, no, I love this, I enjoy this, you know. When the
Right.
when terror, frustration comes as well, they will, something will seem to want that experience. I think both these should be observed from that stillness and then just be there as nothing that you are. Not engage yourself, not allow your attention to engage with the activity, even if it's joy, it's just observe it without
Yeah.
grabbing it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Quit grabbing this in the forest. Yeah.
Yeah, your true position, is always that which can never be described, can never be known, can never be understood. It's nothing really. It's just this vastness. In this vastness, frustration may appear and disappear. Love may appear and disappear. Joy may appear and disappear. But this vastness is just there, watching without interest. It doesn't watch with it doesn't watch with interest. It's not trying to gain something from what is being watched, from what is being watched. It's just there, watching without the desire to get something, anything.
Do you know about sunspots?
Sunspots.
Yeah. So the sun is, you know, these massive, like nuclear events, practically, of just molten. I don't know what the hell the sun is, but anyway, some sometimes there's cold spots on the sun, you know, just for some reason, not like cold we would think of cold, obviously, but colder than the sun usually is. And that causes blockages of radiation and somehow affects the magnetic field of the earth. And that's where, for some reason, you get a lot of those northern lights, aurora borealis. I guess you probably don't see them where you're at. We don't see them here, but certainly you know what those are. But when that happens, and there's a lot of geomagnetic energy, more people end up in emergency rooms and check themselves into mental institutions. It affects the mood of the world. And there's been massive flares, I guess, the last few days that are reaching the Earth now. Today I just felt like everything was going wrong. Not just for me, but other people I was seeing. Melissa had to go home sick. She was so tired, and a couple other people went home sick, and just crabbiness and the way that people were talking to each other and mistakes and just everything just seemed like, so it didn't seem personal, you know. It felt like the energy of the world was having a bad day. I don't know how your day was, but I guess your day's just starting, so maybe you'll maybe I'll ruin it for you. You might not have a bad day because you know about this.
Nobody knows about this.
Pardon?
Nobody knows about this.
No, I'm not making this up. This is a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but nobody knows about this because there's nobody. Gotcha.
Yeah, they may seem this may appear as anything, it may appear. I think you're frozen.
Oh, you're
Oh yeah,
unfrozen.
yeah.
You okay?
Uh, Okay. This may appear as anything. It may appear as people who are sick. It may appear as somebody who's tired. It may appear as somebody who's in a very good mood. The day is going well, everything's fine. You know, but in the midst of that, you know, this is always the way it is. You know, this is not in the realm of a person, of being somebody. This is just there. It's never affected by what's happening. It's never affected by the story. Yet it appears as a story, but it's never affected by the story. In a sense that it doesn't mind what's happening. But if it seems to mind, that is when it seems to be in the dream as a separate self. That is when it seems to be in that limited aspect of itself as a person trying to find itself. But that's just a dream that never happened. When there's a recognition that there's just this, it is also recognized that the person or the separate self never happened. It wasn't even there. So in the midst of what seems to be a separate self seeking for this, it's just never happened. It's never there. There's nobody separate. There's just this. There is no suffering. Even right now, as this talking is happening, there is nobody there. This says nothing. This sees nobody. But it may engage in the story. It doesn't try to get rid of the story because the story is also an expression of this.
Sometimes
So
it's a shitty story.
people, sorry,
I said sometimes it's a shitty story.
yeah, yeah. It may feel, it may become so bad, so terrible, but at the end of the day, it's never real. It's just a play. There's already nobody who separates from this. There's just this. You are not. There is already nobody who's living. Therefore, there is nobody to die. So, since there is nobody who's living, anger is appearing for nobody. Frustration is appearing for nobody. Argument is appearing for nobody. It's just what seems to be happening, and it's going nowhere. If frustration, anger appears, it must appear from that space, which is not an appearance. Just like on when there's a stage, you know, different performances may happen on the stage, you know. They may come, some performers will sing choral music, some may come to sing hip hop, you know. Some may come to act on the stage to do different acts. You know, anything may be allowed to play out on the stage until it goes away, but the stage remains as it is. It's never affected by what's happening, by the performances. So things may appear and disappear. You know, this really doesn't mind what's happening because the activity or what's happening is just an expression of this. So it doesn't mind. When it seems to mind, that is when it expresses as a limited aspect of itself as a person. So it may seem to, oh, I don't like this. Oh, I like that one. But this one, I don't like it. So that's a limited expression of this.
The dream has rules. So the dream abides by rules, you know. People who are mean go through their lives being mean are met with a meanness from the world. You know. Or whatever. People who live from the heart or are find that their life goes smoother. There's rules. The dream has rules. How can an illusory dream have rules?
I would say there are also illusory rules in illusory this or the dream. In the dream, there may be rules, but they are just part of the dream as well. They are part of the dream. They are never real. They are never real rules. Just part of the play. You know, when you play a certain game in the PlayStation, there may be rules in the game that you, but they're just part of the game, part of the play. So
Right. Yet they're there. Whenever anybody jumps out a window, they're going to fall. Yeah. This is universal in this dream. If such a constant exists, how can it all be illusory? I don't know. It's just a mystery sometimes.
When you're having a dream, when you fall the from the pinnacle of the mountain, you fall down. You never reach the floor. You never reach the ground.
You always wake up.
So exactly. So this dream is the same dream. You jump off the building, like there is hundred floors, has 100 floors. You'll never reach the ground. The same dream. The body will 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 reach the ground, but the consciousness, this oh, will never reach the ground.